Cup Week, you already know, it's become a tradition. Today we're going to open the official ball of the 2026 World Cup. What's up? We cut open the 2018 ball. It happened again in 2022. The ball manufacturer, which is a secret, I won't tell you who it is, sent it to us once again so we could make this sacrifice. To start with, what I have here is the official professional ball, the one that's actually used on the field in the World Cup. Okay, it's not a replica. The only difference between this and a ball that's actually going to the World Cup, that's going to be kicked by Neymar. That's going to go into the goal. I mean, if he's actually picked to play, right? He will make the team, but I don't know if he won't end up on the bench. It's just that the ball that's actually going to be used in the official stadium has a chip inside. It has a sensor, which this one doesn't have because it's not going into a stadium that's set up to read that kind of chip. The name of this ball is Onda. Because it's the first time the World Cup is happening in 3 countries: Mexico, the United States, and Canada. So, if you look at this ball with an artistic eye, you'll notice that it's made up of waves in 3 different colors, each one representing a country. And Onda here really means wave, which in Spanish is ola, like that beautiful movement the crowd makes in the stadium. By the way, Jansen has a really good question here. Wouldn't it make more sense not to use the Portuguese word? Because in English it's wave, in Spanish it's ola. So why did he use Onda? I think in Spanish Onda also works. Let's go. Yes, the word also exists in Spanish. In fact, this wave of fans became popular during the 1986 World Cup that took place in Mexico. But let's go. Why does it have these colors? First, the red here, which is from Canada. Do you remember that the Canadian flag is red and it has a leaf in the middle? That leaf is from a tree called Bordeaux, which in English is maple. In fact, if you've ever seen that maple syrup, which is a kind of honey that you pour over pancakes and so on, it's made from this tree. We can see this leaf, all stylized here in the middle of the red design, and also in these tiny textures that appear here on the ball, which are a bit hard to see from far away, but up close, you can see them well. It's also shown on the box, making it easier to see. The blue part represents the United States with stars, just like on their flag. Those 50 stars, each one represents an American state. Yes, it's like the Brazilian flag, where each star represents a state, and the green, as you might have guessed, is Mexico, which has a really cool stylized eagle that I thought looked awesome here. You can see here the eagle's beak, the eyebrow, the eye with that mean look. It's the same eagle that's on the Mexican flag. Daniel researched all of this, and he's going to explain why Mexico has an eagle on its flag.
The eagle is on the Mexican flag, and it's the national symbol because of an Aztec legend, Ibor. Aztecs were the indigenous people of Mexico, and there was a prophecy, right? Their son and war god told them to wander across the continent, and the place where the Aztec Empire's capital would be was where they saw an eagle. And it's not just any eagle. It had to be an eagle on top of a cactus. This cactus, in turn, had to be on a rock surrounded by a lake, and on top of that, the eagle had to have a live snake in its mouth.
Which is exactly what's on the flag of Mexico.
Exactly, it sounds crazy, but the Aztecs supposedly saw this amazing scene and decided to found Tenochtitlan there, which was the capital of the Aztec Empire and is now Mexico City, exactly in the same place where the World Cup opening will take place.
Hey guys, this is Bruna Deltray. I'm a reporter for Caseta KZTV, and I'm going to cover the German national team at the World Cup. And I was really happy to know that Manuel Dumundo is here with Caseta KZV, making content, and there's no one better than Ibor to satisfy our curiosity, even when it comes to soccer.
If there's a World Cup, forget it. It's on TV. What I think is cool about the World Cup being in these 3 countries is that it means good luck for us. Mexico hosted the World Cup in '70, when Brazil became 3-time world champions with one of the best teams of all time. Then, it hosted again in '86, when Maradona scored the famous goal with his hand. And the United States hosted the World Cup in '94, when we became 4-time champions. I think it's time to win the 6th title now, isn't it? One last thing before these 2 beautiful objects meet. Besides this little maple leaf, eagle, and star texture, we also have some lines here on the ball, so it's really textured. It has a great grip when you run your hand over it, but that's not the only reason, okay? This texture also helps the ball break up air turbulence a little when it's flying, and that makes the ball more stable. At least, I hope so, right? Let's hope we don't have another Jabulani this year. But I think we've all learned our lesson by now. But let's go up to now. It's been easy, right? Maybe you already knew a bit of the story so far. Normally, I would just poke the ball and it would pop. But this time we decided to do it in a more complicated way. Let's pop this ball by applying a bit of our soccer knowledge, which is actually very little in our case. Look, we set up this beautiful goal here that Lucas made. By the way, there's a really good channel that teaches you how to build a goal like this. It's called Manual do Mundo. In the middle, as you can see, there's a really sharp knife. That's where we have to aim. Here there's a camera and a cell phone that we wouldn't want to get hit by the ball. We're going to decide the order for taking this penalty by doing keepy uppies. Whoever does the least goes first. Whoever does the most goes last. Whoever hits the knife wins a piece of the ball to take home. We'll decide the rest later. 2. Very good. 2, 2. 1, 3, 2. I think it was, right? I think that's all of them. But anyway, no less than 15. What's that? 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 5. Oh, the car, everyone is bad. Come on. 2, 3. Hey. 4, 5, 7, 8. 8. 8, 7. Have you noticed that the hiring criteria here at Manual do Mundo is to be bad at playing soccer, right? No. Wow. That was the best, right? Point for Daniel. Now you have to get it right. A camera and a cell phone that we wouldn't want to get hit by the ball. We need a larger cover for the camera here. Now that's better. Ooh, ah. Guys, shall we move the penalty mark? Let's bring it a little closer. We gained a meter here. Whoa, what's that? Move forward. Let's go. We got this. Nice, we're getting better. Come on. Now is the time. Now is the time to get it right. 3 meters away. Nice. Look. That was a nice shot. Wow. Yeah. We've got our work cut out for us, huh? Funny how it smells like a new car, Daniel. Who's behind the camera? How many layers do you think we'll find in this ball? I think it's about 5 layers, Iber. 5 layers. Let's go. Come on. Let's get to work. Let's do this. The design here is pretty complex, you see. And it's not easy to cut, no. It's really tough. The panels on this ball, they're glued together. This is probably made by machine, by robot, by computer and all that. So it ends up becoming a single object. That's why we don't have that separate bladder inside the ball, like we do in more common balls. When we made this ball here, we had to put a bladder inside it, like a car tire tube. In this one, it's like a tubeless tire. Look, the part that holds the air is this black layer here, which is made of butyl. It's a synthetic rubber that doesn't let the gas through. Look how cool. Look at how beautiful the panel is. On the inside, we can see the weld of the inner part. Look, there's a bonding here. They probably melt one layer of rubber over the other. Let's take a sample here to separate the layers, which is not an easy task, okay? Because we already know these layers are really well bonded. Actually, on the first ball we took apart, it came off kind of easily. On the second one, it didn't come off easily at all. I think it'll be even harder here. Look, there's a little layer. Let's try to take off the first layer here, which is the outer part of the ball. It's coming off kind of easily from the bottom part. This is probably polyurethane. It's a plastic that's widely used in other things. For example, that foam we made inside our spinning top, which exploded. is polyurethane foam. It's on this outer part that will have all these textures of the eagle, the star, etc. The deeper texture is still on the padded layer, okay? I can see the lines passing here. Now it's not so easy to separate them anymore. This one is really stuck. It's impossible to peel off. Actually, I'm tearing it to see if I can get to the bottom layer. I failed. Now I've reached the fabric. It's probably what really holds up under pressure. It doesn't let the ball stretch too much. It keeps the shape of the ball even when it's full. This fabric, from what we've read, is elastane. It's a synthetic fiber. Right? It's a fiber that we don't find in nature. It's not like cotton or linen. And the name says it all. It's an elastic fiber, because otherwise, the ball ends up like this. It starts getting all lumpy. If you kick it too hard, that part doesn't stretch much, or if you get the ball wet, and so on. This here will probably ensure that the ball keeps a uniform shape no matter what you do with it. We have the ball separated here. Look, this fabric isn't very elastic, but I think it's one of the things that gives the ball its quality. You know, the weave is really nice here, and it's a mix of fiber with some kind of rubber. It's not just simple fabric, no. It's really tough. It's impossible to tear by hand. It was hard to cut, even with a utility knife. It's pretty cool. I wonder if we can see this clearly under the microscope. Nothing like looking under the microscope, huh? Look how nice the weave is here. We can see each fiber of the elastane. Look over the surface, you can tell there's some paint, right? The paint also gives it a texture. 4 layers, man. We have the texture and the little cushion, which are probably made of polyurethane, then elastane fabric, and then the inner bladder, which is made of butyl rubber. And I couldn't help but open it up, right? To see what's here in the place where we inflate the ball. Detail, the other 2 balls I opened from previous World Cups had an NFC chip. That's the chip that, when you get close, gives you a link or some information. This ball here doesn't have it, and I think it's because it's kind of out of fashion. You know, it made some sense at the time, because it's not the match chip. It was mainly a chip for reading info, visiting the manufacturer's site about the ball, and similar uses. Look, the valve is coming out here. It stays embedded inside the rubber. I managed to take out the whole valve. On the side that stays inside the ball, it even looks like it's closed. Let's get a ball inflating needle here and see how this valve behaves. Look, the valve is closed. It presses the rubber. Here it's already cut because I used a utility knife here. You inflate the ball through this hole, and when you remove the needle, it closes so air doesn't escape. Final verdict, it took apart the last 2 balls and this one, which was from the World Cup in Brazil. The Brazuca, comparing the 2 balls, I think there's been some improvement. The design of the Onda is more modern, better filled out. I think it's more beautiful. It has gold, a bunch of things. And the texture is different too. This ball here has a very fine texture. It's smoother overall. And the Onda has a rougher, thicker texture. It gives the impression of being a more robust, older ball. And we saw what it is. It got stabbed, kept its normal shape. It wasn't easy to peel apart. So, mission accomplished. Now, when you watch the first World Cup match and see this beauty on the field, you'll know exactly what's inside, and you'll remember all the symbolism that's represented here that you saw in Manual do Mundo. And now I have to at least get back to doing 5 keepy-uppies, right? To get back to the shape I had when I was 10 years old. Oh man. Brazilian soccer is on another level, right? Was it more like 7, not just 5? Look, do the math. Let's count this correctly now. Do it right. The editor will rewind the tape and count.